Thanks, Tushar, Sanjeev, and Shiv. For me, I think the eye opener was a month back when I was doing a video call with some of my middle management. It was an outreach program, and one of them was just not coming on the video call. And when I asked him, why you're not on video call, he said he was sitting in the car. And I was like, it's lockdown. How can you sit in the car? And he said he's come down because he stays in a small apartment, a one-bedroom apartment with his parents. He has a couple of children, and he just doesn't have space. And that's what set me thinking, because God has been kind. I have a big enough room where I can do my study. But 95 or maybe even 99% of our workforce, I'm not talking about JLL, but the corporate workforce, could be staying in small 2 bedrooms or small 1 bedroom apartments, and the challenges they face from work from home. So started researching about the various challenges one faces from work from home. Imagine imagine a couple, a husband and wife, working for two rival banks, sitting in the same room with all the data being seen or being shared. Just imagine that. We can't even imagine that. Or imagine four young college friends who are bachelors working for four large Indian tech majors whose clients are four large American banks, sharing a room, listening to other people's conversations, listening to other people's, seeing other people's screens. Just imagine that. I also feel a lot of support for work from home has come because corporates, companies need to give a feel-good factor to analysts and to our clients. If someone comes and asks me, Ramesh, how is JLL doing in terms of productivity and are all employees productive? I would like to say that, all our employees are productive, all my clients are very happy. I think it's also the feel-good factors which CEOs need to show that everything is fine in our organization. And today we'll see some of those challenges. Let's look at just the co-working industry. Why was the co-working industry? Why did it emerge? I think the very fact that the co-working industry emerged was because your startups and freelancers or your small firms wanted a community feeling. They didn't want to sit alone and work from their homes or work from coffee shops, and they wanted to get an organization feel. That's something we should remember. Why did India emerge as the back office of the world? Today we say, okay, China is the factory of the world, India is the back office of the world. Very, very simple reasons. One, because we were productive. Two, because we were very high on accuracy. And three, we were very high on compliance. Now we need to start looking at, from a productivity, accuracy, compliance point of view, how work from home can actually impact us. I think today it's become a necessity, work from home, because we don't have a choice. We cannot go outside and work. We need to work here because of COVID. But I think everyone is on a trial and error mode right now. Just imagine every time you used to walk into an IT company or a bank, your bags are always checked, your laptop numbers, your hard disk number in the laptop was noted by the security. Why was all the security done? And today everyone is sitting working on what happened to that same security which was there till 2 months back. On a lighter note, I don't think if all our employees in the country, the white collar employees who are working out of home, if they were all productive, I don't think Netflix, Amazon, and Hotstar would have done so well in the last 3 months if everyone was super productive at home. So my biggest concern about work from home is the productivity angle. Let's look at the infrastructure side. How reliable is data speed in India and data connectivity? Look at the amount of, I have 3 backups. There was a day when 2 of my backups on my Wi-Fi just went for a toss. So I created a third backup. How many people can actually afford three backups? Supply, today I live in Mumbai. Power is reasonably good. It is reliable. But what about some other cities in the country? The power is not reliable across the country. Look at sound quality. If you are staying in a family in a small house, what happens? What about firewalls? What about data confidentiality, which I spoke about? What about the viability of allocating hardware, two sets of hardware, one at home, one at office, giving UPS, large screens for employees, two sets of hardwares? Today, a lot of us, when you're in an office, we know that the telecom connectivity is good, it's viable, it won't disrupt. There are a lot of clients who work in India with client proprietary technology. A lot of tech firms who do that. What happens to that? Imagine the amount of internet plans, the amount of top-ups we have done, the good amount of high speed which we have, and still connectivity has been a challenge in the last 2-3 companies. And I've also heard of business process management companies, outsourcing companies, who use the same set of hardware in multiple shifts. So one person uses it for 9 hours, 8 hours. Next employee comes and uses it for 8 hours. What happens in that kind of environment? Again, these are questions which we'll need to kind of answer. I think from a people point of view, there are lots of challenges which are emerging. I spoke about most of us don't have a study room. The concept of home offices is there in Europe, in US. How many people have home offices in India, except maybe 1 or 2% of the society? What about joint families? There's so many people who stay in joint families, the different family demographics, older people, young children, the cultural challenges of working from home. I think the biggest challenge which is emerging is unplugging post work hours. It's becoming a challenge. I'm sure many of us have faced that in the last 3 months. That psychological safety is again becoming a challenge. Already there's enough research coming the last 3 months that work from home has an impact on loneliness, on depression, on anxiety, on bonding between people, all the distractions involved. There's no blur between office and non-office. I think 95% of the workforce today are first timers. We never done this. I've never done it, although we had a policy to work from home, but I've never done this. Today, a lot of employees are trying to show they are hardworking, they are loyal, they are productive by working all the time. Now, that's definitely going to lead to a work from home burnout syndrome, early days again. Today, afternoons are blending into evenings, weekdays are blending into weekends, and research clearly shows that there has to be a clear line drawn between personal and professional life. And that's very crucial for mental health. And I think the amount of burnout working from home is going to be much more than the amount of burnout working from offices. I was not aware of this concept. The first 1 month, towards the evening, I was doing like 6-7 hours of video calls every day. And the evenings, I was feeling very, very tired. And then I started realizing there's this new concept, new word I learned, online tiredness, that people feel a lot more tired staring into a screen than just having regular face-to-face meetings. I remember this quote from Satya Nadella, who said that work from home can have serious consequences on social interaction and mental health, in a very nice blog written by the O&M country head in India. He said, you cannot build a team, you cannot build relationships, and you cannot build a company culture through video calls, and that needs face-to-face interactions. There are multiple isolation challenges which are emerging, and there's also one survey which I was reading that said that employees who have best buddies at work, which means if you have friends at work, their engagement levels are 7 times more than people who do not have best buddies at work. On the workplace front, just a few more points. I think performance management, still companies are kind of figuring out how to do actual performance management and work from home. Accountability is still a challenge. Creativity, everyone knows if people are working in different places all alone, creativity is going to be a challenge. Teamwork, how do you bring teamwork when multiple people are working in different places? Smaller challenges, like when I go to an office, I know I sit on a good chair, I sit on a good table, but what percentage of the employees actually have work chairs and work tables which is designed to ensure comfort, and which is not always the case when working from home. Monitoring protocols. How do you monitor people on their performance when they're working from home? Communication processes. I know collaborative technologies like Zoom and WebEx and Teams have helped, but what more processes do we need to get in? I think decision making between teams have definitely become tough when you're not sitting face to face. Building meaningful relationships, again, going to become a big challenge between colleagues. We have recruited people in the last 3 months who have not seen a JLL office, who haven't seen a JLL colleague face to face. Now, what happens to meaningful relationships between them? With work from home increasing, I believe liquid workforce will also increase as this concept. Everyone will try and have more liquid workforce, which will lead to more insurance challenges. Like, how do you cover a liquid workforce from an insurance coverage point of view? I think creativity and innovative thinking is going to become challenging. And when you're not in the same room, I think problem solving will also get longer. Company culture, which is every company talks about its culture, is created when teams engage with each other sitting face to face. That's definitely going to take a hit. Building deeper client relationships when you're not sitting face to face. You can still build client relationships, but I think deeper client relationships will be built only while you are sitting face to face. And once you have engaged employees, I spoke about how engagement is there when people are sitting face to face. If you're engaging with your employees, loyalty, pride, and profitability will automatically come for the companies. I think expectation setting also become difficult when the real emotion is not being shown in a work from home setting. And motivating teams. Again, I asked this question to our leaders, 300 of our directors. What is the one biggest managerial / leadership challenge which you are facing? And the first answer was, I'm not able to motivate my teams with video calls and stuff like that to the optimum level. I think people will identify themselves with the company's values when they engage with each other face to face. And leaders cannot create and drive a company culture while working from home. So, Tushar, before I touch upon the data points, let me also touch upon that legal things which Shiv was talking about. I've spoken to a number of CIOs across the country and some outside the country, who are beginning to get worried about data leakages. That's a real worry. Cases of ransomware and malware are beginning to come. It's early days, but beginning. My worry is if there are multiple security breaches, will that lead to higher insourcing? How was the Indian back office, Indian IT services sector itself was built around outsourcing? And if news like this starts hitting the press, if news like that starts coming out, definitely it will lead to more amount of insourcing. Currently, we don't have a legal framework for work from home as a country. That needs to also be fixed. I've heard from colleagues in Australia and UK that they have a legal framework around that. Today, even look at all the SEZs, the IT SEZs which are working. Where as a special circumstance, they've allowed work from home, and that special circumstance is COVID-19. But that could change tomorrow. We don't know. Again, look at labor laws. Labor laws, we all know, come under the concurrent list. So you need to get approvals of state government, central government. Today the government is allowing that, but tomorrow we need to figure out what to do. A friend of mine in the working for a large corporate legal firm was talking about how just in the last 2 months, how data protection, data breach, data security issues and questions have significantly kind of gone up. At least the conversations, a lot more conversations are happening around that. Again, there needs to be more clarity around indemnity and bonds which an employee will have to sign with an employer before starting to work from home. Those things still need to kind of evolve. On one side, corporates are saying we're going to be monitoring employees. On the other side, how much can you monitor an employee wherein you're not breaking privacy laws of each country? That again needs to be seen. And we all know SEZ, STPI, bonding legislations which are there from many companies have taken tax benefits from that. So that again needs to be. So a lot of legal things, like Shiv said, we just and Sanjeev said, we just had a week and we just all jumped into it. Government passed a few rules. We all started getting used to it, but still a lot of unanswered questions on the legal side. From the data point of view, still early days. Tushar, I wish I could give you lots and lots of research. People are just getting back to work. I'm sure in the next 2-3 months, some amount of data points will emerge. But I'll share with you some of the discussions I've had with some of our clients, some of them large sample sizes. And please remember, whatever I say now cannot be used in general, because work from home will definitely vary depending on regions, depending on industries, voice, non-voice based, tech, back office, sales organizations, creative organizations. It'll vary from industry to industry. So please don't generalize. But I'll tell you what some of the things which I've heard. JLL did an internal survey with all our employees globally, and the finding was 5% of our employees said we would only want to work from home. 65% of the employees said we are okay working from home and from working from office, but we need a good balance. 30% of the employees said we'll only work from office. So that's one data point for you. Another data point was a lot of our clients said first month productivity was very high. This is late March till mid of April, till third week of April. People are saying productivity is very high. But what we've been hearing from many of our clients is the May productivity levels started dropping. June is a little too early. So that's another data point. I've asked this question to nearly 70 million square feet of clients who occupy 70 million square feet, the corporate real estate heads. My question to them was, once things get back to normal, which is a post-vaccine era, when people are being normal, maybe it'll take 1 year, maybe it'll take 1.5 years, maybe it'll take 3 months, we don't know. But once things get back to normal, what percentage of your workforce at a given point of time work permanently from home? And the answers varied between 4 to 22%. So this was the answer I got. So if you have to take an average of 4 to 22%, that's like 13-14%. So real estate demand, around 13-14% of that could go to work from home. Again, early days. Another interesting research which we did, one of the things which came out, a survey which came out, was 64% of the respondents who did not work from home pre-COVID wanted to incorporate work from home in the future. So agree with Shiv that the journey has started. So nearly 64% of people said we want to incorporate that in the future. And more than the number of people who said that they want to work from home more than 2 days actually doubled. Now that's again a good data point. And some companies even went to the extent of saying 30% of my workforce will work from home. But their average, I would say, would be 14% would be an average of the companies who said they will want their people to work from home.
PMCs like GLL would look forward to enter into contract with IT companies or companies allowing work from home to provide and maintain facilities to its employees like chairs, furnitures, internet services, network equipments, laptops, or any other services which you think may require for productive working from the home and also to balance their life.
Very interesting thought, Neeraj. Something to think about, given that we are a very big B2B player. I think there is an opportunity there, but definitely worth thinking, because there will be a new industry itself evolving. I know of some furniture makers who are thinking of making pods which can be fitted into a bedroom. for work from home. So it'll have a screen, it'll have a battery, it'll have, in case the power goes, the UPS system, a comfortable chair, a comfortable table, a place to keep your mobile. So I'm sure there will be new things evolving, and maybe JLL can also play a role there, something to think about.
So Ramesh, please don't forget workplace trends to give some percentage, for that revenue.
and,
Thank you,
and
Ramesh.
also to me for
Thank you for the idea.
suggesting you the idea. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Neeraj.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have Kailash Babbar with us. Kailash, would you like to, Kailash, can you come on the screen? Yeah, Kailash is from Kailash is from Economic Times. Kailash, please. Kailash, can you hear us? Kailash. Okay, so Kailash is asking, I'll just read out his questions to you. Is the work from home model sustainable over the long term based on the cost and benefit associated with it? So I think all three of you can give your point of view on that. So Ramesh, I'll start with you.
I think it's long term. There are multiple benefits which we have discussed in this. It is sustainable, but what percentage only time will tell. We have discussed the pros and cons. Like I said, many companies looking at between 4 and 22% of it to move to work from home. I was on a call just before this with a very large American banking client of ours. And he said their space standard used to be 120 square feet pre-Lehman, and
Right.
it has become 100 square feet today. It reduced exactly what you said. And he said we have taken a decision globally, and it'll apply to India also, to increase that space standard to 150 square foot a person.
Absolutely.
And so spot on. And this was like half an hour before this call started.
Simple, he's from Economic Times and he's asking that what percentage of work across industries is like to move towards work from home? So I'm sure that nobody is ready with the data, but Ramesh, can you just give little, perspective on that what do you see? And another question he's asking that which kind of industries like to prefer this work from home? So I just add one point that Sanjeev said, in retail industry, you need connect. You need you need to go to streets and you need to go to see the colors, taste, touch and feel. But different industries have different touch points. So Ramesh, would you like to just cover these 2 points?
Great question by Kailash, and my answer would be what I spoke about earlier, Tushar, which is again in that category of the 4 to 22%. It was not just IT companies that had a mix of banking, it had a mix of global in-house centers, third-party IT outsourcing, IT majors. So it was a good mix, FMCG companies. So I think although it's going to vary from industry to industry, high contact industry, like your calls, for example, voice, for example. I know a lot of voice is moved from India to Philippines, but still there are companies who do a lot of voice related activity in India. Those kind of things which require very good soundproofing, which needs high speed bandwidth. That needs to be in proper office settings. Like Sanjeev spoke about sales forces, for example. Okay, it's okay. The sales forces have to be in front of clients, not in the office. But again, to interact, to collaborate, to report, to monitor, to have weekly discussions, all that he needs to kind of come back to office. So I'm still putting that 14-15% number for Kailash's question.
Including TCS will be encouraging more and more employees to work from home. How do you see this impact to the commercial real estate going forward? So Ramesh, I think this question is for you. I think, TCS, one announcement has taken everybody's sleep. So Ramesh, can you just help everybody to understand the impact on commercial real estate?
I think TCS, like many other companies, would want work from home to work. Given that there will be definitely savings on office costs, real estate costs, all that. Today, my CFO is working on 60 cost items to reduce for our business in India. 60 cost items, and in that real estate is one of them. Real estate capex is one of them. Real estate rentals is one of them. Option to work out of work out of a co-working with lower lock-ins is one of them. I think there will be many companies who will aspire to reach that number. Time will tell how many of them will actually reach that number in a 5 years time. But again, Tushar, look at a scenario where you have an employee who comes in and you just give him a bag and tell him, okay, this is our company values, this is our company principles, this is our company culture, this is our company behavior. Now see you in 6 months time. Till then we'll catch you up on a video call. Now how does that work? Maybe I'm a little old fashioned. Maybe millennials would love it. I don't know. I don't know, but time will tell how cultures are created, how value systems are created. I think attracting, and HR teams will have to really think, and I'm sure they will take advice from people like Shiv on how this will actually evolve. You will have to offer work from home as a positive benefit to employees definitely going forward. You don't have a choice there. That'll become like an HR one line which will say work from home friendly policies would be there. But will a Google or a Facebook, would they want their employees working from home, or an Apple? What they sell is their culture to prospective top tech talent to come out of the MITs and the IITs to come and join them. Can they say work from home is we are going to be inculcating our culture from work from home? So I think it's a mixed and I like the point what Sanjeev said. A lot of companies today are working on the policies. There were, I would say, maybe 5% of the companies or 10% of the companies had work from home policies till 3 months back. But going forward, the good news is a lot of companies will have proper policies around that. We had a policy, but I don't see many of our clients had policies. So it's a matter of time before these policies come up. So jury is still out there. It's something which we need to look at, and I think debates like this, Tushar, will highlight some of those challenges which people are facing. And I think with time, and Shiv kept saying that, Sanjeev also kept saying that, we started all this one night. We knew we were going to start working from home from tomorrow morning onwards. And I still remember Monday call, everybody, we luckily had WebEx implemented globally for 60,000 people of our employees. So we kind of had a seamless thing, but we also had a challenge. I think once we identify the top 100 challenges, we'll start kind of slowly figuring out how to kind of solve each one of them. And many of the challenges which we discussed today will get sorted out. And that's a good opportunity also for technology companies to kind of give those solutions. I'm sure the Facebooks and the Apples and the Googles of the world will come out with massive solutions around some of these problems.
What they should do as a change management or design management to promote this culture in India? Yeah.
So I think 4 things, Tushar. First is I think in a bedroom you should have a work from home space within a bedroom because I think selling a new study room or a room just for work from home may not be affordable for many people. That's like an additional size which today most of the home buyers in India are middle class, upper middle class. So I think one area dedicated for working, that's one. Second is I think developers need to start thinking if there can be a smaller format of a business center within their complexes. So let's say I'm working from home today, something goes wrong, I need to take a print, my Wi-Fi fails, something I can just go down and work from a business center like you have in your hotels. I think that's something which developers need to think of. Third is I think developers also need to think of if you can create private open spaces within your apartments. This is something which has come out of this COVID thing, that people want open spaces, but they don't want public open spaces. So can you create private open spaces within? And lastly, I think extremely good telecom connectivity. I think that's something which people are going to be looking at. Developers offer generators for power, all that. But I think the next wave would be how can you guarantee uninterrupted telecom service in my home, and these are so I think these are 3-4 design changes developers can think of.